Hey, welcome back to Stay Ahead. Today we are breaking down how to actually test the incident management control end to end across two environments auditors run into constantly: Azure Active Directory and Security Center on the cloud side, and a traditional on-prem SIEM like Splunk, QRadar, or ELK. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what goes into the work paper, what evidence to pull, how to sample incidents, and how to write up a finding the right way. This one sponsored by Audit.site, our AI GRC platform. Links in the description if you want to see how it automates a lot of what I'm about to walk you through. First thing, every good auditor does before touching a single ticket, map the control access frameworks. Incident management isn't just one checkbox, it shows up everywhere. ISO 27002 calls it out directly in A16, SOC 2 has it under CC 7.4 for detection and response. PCI DSS requires a documented incident response plan under requirement 12.10. GDPR and India's DPDP law both expect breach notification, that's Article 33 territory, and NIST CSF splits it across the response function from response planning all the way to communications. Why does this matter? Because one well-designed test can satisfy 5 different frameworks at once. That's the efficiency play auditors and GRC teams are always chasing. Workpaper anatomy. Before we get into testing, let's talk about documentation because an audit finding is only as strong as the workpaper behind it. Every control workpaper needs 9 things: the control objective, your control steps split into design and operating effectiveness, a sampling strategy of at least 5 incidents, the evidence you will rely on, a step-by-step testing procedure, 8 design effectiveness checkpoints, 8 operating effectiveness checkpoints, your results comparing expected versus actual, and finally your conclusion with recommendations. Here's the methodology end to end in 8 steps. Step 1, planning. You define your scope, which here is incident management inside Azure Security Center plus the on-prem SIEM. Step 2, evidence collection. You're gathering IR policies, the escalation matrix, SIEM alerts, and post-incident review reports. Step 3 is testing technique: inquiry, observation, inspection, and reperformance, like actually simulating a fail login to see what happens. Step 4, sampling. You're pulling at least 5 incidents across different categories. Step 5 is running your 8 design and 8 operating effectiveness checkpoints. Step 6, documentation. Record every procedure and attach your evidence. Step 7, findings. That's your condition, criteria, cause, consequence, and recommendation. And step 8, conclusion. You rate effectiveness and tie it back to the frameworks we covered earlier. Slide 5, control objective. Let's anchor everything to one sentence because this is the objective every single test in this video ties back to. Ensure incidents are detected, logged, escalated, and resolved efficiently with lessons learned documented. Read that again: detected, logged, escalated, resolved, documented. If your testing doesn't touch all 5 of those, you're not actually testing the control, you are just checking a box. Design effectiveness checkpoints. Design effectiveness is about the paperwork. Does the control exist on paper the way it's supposed to? You're checking 8 things. Is the incident response policy documented? Is classification defined: low, medium, high, critical? Is there a documented escalation matrix? Is the IR workflow itself defined? Is forensic readiness documented? Is there a communication plan? Is the regulatory notification process written down? And finally, is the post-incident review process defined? If any of these are missing, you already have a design gap before you even looked at a single ticket. Operating effectiveness checkpoints. Operating effectiveness is the opposite question. Forget what's on paper, did the control actually happen in practice? So now you're checking where incidents actually logged in the ticketing system, was classification applied correctly in real cases, where escalation timelines actually followed, was evidence preserved, screenshots, logs, works. Did the IR team actually respond? Was the PIR actually completed? Were regulatory notifications actually made? And was IR training actually conducted? This is where most findings come from. By the way, the policy says one thing, reality says another. Azure AD or Security Center. evidence collection. Let's get into the cloud side, Azure AD and Security Center. Your evidence gathering steps, navigate to Azure Security Center and pull up incidents. Export the incident as a list as a CSV. Screenshot the incident dashboard so you can see severity levels, high, medium, low. Screenshot the escalation workflow if it's built in Azure Logic Apps, and screenshot the post-incident review report if your team tracks that in Azure DevOps. On screen, you're seeing what the evidence typically looks like: a severity breakdown, an escalation flow from trigger to notification, and the PIR document itself with its review status. On-premises SIEM evidence collection. Now the on-prem side, same idea, different tools. Open the SIEM dashboard, Splunk, QRadar, ELK, whatever your organization runs. Export incident logs specifically for malware, fail logins, and phishing. Screenshot the incident ticket in ServiceNow or Jira. Screenshot the forensic evidence, packet captures, raw log files, and screenshot the PIR document, typically sitting in SharePoint. What you're seeing here is a stand-in for what the evidence looks like in practice: an alert volume trend, a real ticket with priority and escalation status, a raw log snippet from the forensic capture, and the PIR itself. Test execution samples. Time to actually run the test. Sample size here is 5 incidents: spanning malware, a failed login, phishing, an expired certificate, and data exfiltration. A good spread across categories. For each one, you're inspecting the logs, verifying classification was applied correctly, checking escalation timelines, reviewing whether the PIR was completed, and validating regulatory notifications went out where required. Here's what we expect versus what we actually found. Expected: all incidents logged and classified, escalation within defined timelines, PIR completed for every incident, notification sent where required. Actual